But anyway, I was going to say something else. Okay, going back. Sorry, guys. The Bongino thing, right? So he's going to leave. So obviously this Jeffrey Epstein thing has created a lot of fucking problems, right? So let me go ahead and read this tweet and then we'll get into this a little bit more. So conservatives are throwing a fit over the Epstein files staying under wraps, but they're too scared to spit out the real reason they're still buried despite Trump's promise to release them. Epstein was Jewish, an asset for Israeli intelligence.
Avengers, assemble!
Right? Because you know that they were assembling. Releasing those classified files would rip open Israel's national security secrets and make their approval ratings, already in the gutter, by the way, hit rock bottom. Israel's got us to bomb Iran and risk World War III. So you don't think they'd lobby hard to protect their guy Epstein, who was likely holding a stack of their dirtiest laundry? If his name was Jeffrey Ahmed, we know that one, those files would have been public yesterday. But with Trump in the pocket of the Zionist lobby, they buried those files faster than you can say Mordecai. Now, and let's be honest here. The reason why so many conservatives like Matt Walsh and these other guys are too fucking scared to say it or go all the way is because we know who runs conservative media, right? We know who runs conservative media. And right now is not a good time to release the files. Let's be honest. Israel is in the middle of a very pivotal time in its history, guys. I told you guys this before. I told you again. I told you guys this before. I'm going to say it again. The next year or two is going to dictate the landscape of the Middle East forever. Okay? So Israel can't afford to not get aid or support from the United States right now. Declassifying those files is not going to be a good look for Israel. Okay? At all. It's already bad enough that this song went viral.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, tell if this is what you get for all your evil deeds. Boom, boom, boom.
But all jokes aside, despite the fact that that song went fucking viral and everybody was like, oh, this shit is lit. Like, Israel can't afford any more PR blunders, okay? Releasing Epstein files and niggas finding out on that list that they're involved in a bunch of bullshit would be very problematic for them right now, okay? They're in the middle of a war with Iran. They're trying to effectuate regime change, right? They're trying to blame them for having nuclear weapons while they have their own illegal nuclear weapon program. It's like a sensitive time. You know, your boy Netanyahu's coming over to the White House with dirty laundry trying to make sure that shit still gets cleaned. Like, come on, man, right? He has a fucking corruption trial going on right now as we speak. Taking bribes and wine and cigars and all this other bullshit because the wife's a fucking alcoholic. Like, he really can't afford any more scandals right now. They really can't. Okay? So, with that said, I guarantee you guys that there's national defense information in the Jeffrey Epstein files. Now, let's get into the details with the whole Epstein debacle and why this is a problem, right? So let's deal with the facts. Let's deal with the straight up shit. We know, everybody knows at this point, that he was an asset of some kind for Israeli intelligence. Whether it's Mossad, Oman, Unit 8200, whatever, that's irrelevant. The point is that he was an asset for Israeli intelligence to some degree. Now, I want to make this very clear, guys. Being an asset for an intelligence agency doesn't mean that you work for said intelligence agency. This is something that a lot of people don't fucking understand, okay? Being an asset could simply be he passes information to a handler. It could simply be that he does XYZ where he gets this type of information for them. Maybe he makes an introduction. Maybe he is a person that puts people in certain situations so that, you know, people could tail him, okay? It doesn't mean that he has to collect a fucking check from the Mossad or from Unit 8200 or the IDF or Oman or any of this other shit. All he has to do is assist in some way, okay? That's all that it is with being an asset, okay? It could be something as simple as, hey, Prince Andrews fucked
redacted.
Okay, this underage woman. We can pinch him if you want. Cool. We'll keep that in our back pocket in case we need leverage over England. Cool. That in itself is being an asset. Doesn't have to get a check from these niggas, nothing. All right? Now that we understand that it doesn't take much to be an asset, it kind of opens the door. What was he doing exactly? All right? I've described the scheme, but I'll summarize it real quick for you guys. What Epstein would do was he would use his girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was a socialite and knew a lot of powerful people, and get invited to these parties with powerful people. He'd bring a bunch of women there, okay? A guy named Jean-Luc Brunel, okay? French model scout would basically supply him with women from Victoria's Secret. How did he get these women? Because his backer, Les Wexner, Israeli billionaire, hardcore Zionist, okay, who owns Victoria's Secret and a bunch of other companies, billionaire, who was Epstein's backer, right? They'd have all these women. Now, once Jeffrey Epstein became the cool guy that always had girls and had social proof, because a lot of these, political niggas are not as cool as, they're just not that cool. They got a boring ass wife and shit. Their life sucks. Whatever. Epstein's a cool guy that has bitches. Once they got them interested, oh yeah, come hang out at my house in West Palm Beach. Oh, come out hang out at my house in New Mexico. Come to my house in Paris. Come to my fucking huge ass home in Manhattan. Right? Once he goes there, Epstein, who had been doing some work on the side, we had a bunch of high school girls giving tug and rubs to him and his buddies in West Palm Beach. This is how he got in trouble back in 2006. He had like a group of like 10 of these girls, by the way. He would fly them all over the fucking country. Interstate and then obviously international. End up meeting these powerful people. Okay? And make no mistake about it, guys. The powerful person doesn't have to actually, have sexual relations with the minor. Them just being in the room or getting a massage from them is bad enough. That's all Epstein needed as leverage. Okay, that's all he needed. Because at that point, and he had cameras in all of his fucking rooms. All right? So, all he needed was the footage or for the person to believe that there was a footage to have them compromised. Right? Now you can see why this would be a valuable tool for the Israelis. Okay? That's kind of what he did. That's the overall gist of his operation, how he did things, how he found the women, how Ghislaine Maxwell came in, Brunel and everything. It's more refined than that. I've done full episodes on this, but I don't want to go through all that shit because a lot of you guys probably know a lot of this stuff already, right? And if you don't, go back on my channel, watch my interviews with Ryan Dawson. We break this down in fucking detail, right? Ryan Dawson is probably one of the few people that has like the full Epstein list, knows everything. And by the way, the list's been out forever. FYI. All these people say, I want the client list. You're a retard, okay? Winnie Webb, Ryan Dawson, they've been talking about this shit. They've already identified a majority of the people that are on the list. The thing is that it's not the cool people that you want. It's a lot of fucking unknown billionaires, right? Zionist billionaires that nobody fucking knows. And that's how they want it, by the way. The list has been out forever. What people really want, okay, is what the fuck was Epstein doing and who was he reporting to? This, my friends, is what we're never gonna fucking get. And the reason why we're never going to get it is because, like I said before, since he worked for Israeli intelligence, I guarantee you there was also a component of American intelligence involved as well. Because we know that the Mossad and the CIA work very closely, even though that they fucking still steal information from us. Because we're retards, right? So, excuse me. So when it comes to, Epstein and Intel and everything else like that, what I guarantee Trump and his administration are relying upon and not declassifying, or why they don't want to declassify, is because there's probably what's called NDI in there, National Defense Information. Okay? And National Defense Information, guys, they just don't have to release it. They don't have to declassify it. They don't have to release it on national defense grounds. And given the fact that Israel is one of our closest allies, right? That's what's going to be their justification. Now, the other thing that I also want to bring attention to is Pam Bondi. Right, as you guys know, the Attorney General is Pam Bondi, aka Pam Blondie. She's not really competent, and she spends more time looking good on Fox News than actually doing her job. Fine, but I do think that it's important for people to understand that as Attorney General of the Department of Justice, right, the FBI is underneath her. Okay, Kash Patel is her subordinate. Pam Bondi is Kash Patel's boss, and Dan Bongino's boss. Okay. But I also think it's important for you guys to understand that the FBI only has a sliver of the information on Jeffrey Epstein. Given the nature of who Jeffrey Epstein was and how he worked, and that he was a foreign intelligence asset, that automatically puts him in the main purview of who? The CIA. The CIA, guys, just so you understand, is the international intelligence arm of the United States intel community. The FBI is the domestic arm. So everything international is CIA. Everything domestic is the FBI. This is why they fight, okay? Because the FBI often has leads that have an international nexus, and the CIA often has leads that have a domestic nexus, and they don't want to fucking share. This is why they've had problems for 30 plus fucking years and why we've had the issues that we've had, okay? But besides that beef, because that's not really important, I just need you guys to understand that though the FBI is culpable for this fuck up to a degree, they don't have everything, okay? They're obviously going to be running the criminal case, which is declassified. You guys can go ahead and look at that up because Ghislaine Maxwell actually went to trial. And they're also going to have a high side, right? Which is going to have information as well, probably on his background and everything else like that. But that shit's classified and they're not going to release that. But I think the agency that's really going to have everything is going to be the CIA. I'm also certain that the DIA, NSA, all the other intelligence components are going to have files on Epstein as well. But the agency that's going to have by far the most is going to be the CIA, given their nature that they are a foreign intelligence service combator. Okay. Now the real question you guys are probably wondering is, well, Myron, who is most responsible here? Well, a lot of you guys are probably not going to like what I have to say here. But here's the real bombshell. The person really that is the most responsible, and I think should be really getting the most beat up on this shit, is Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, I fucking said it. Pam Bondi
Redacted.
doesn't understand how the federal system works. She's head of the DOJ. DOJ, guys, has unlimited access to the intel community. The only agency in the DOJ that's an active member of the IC is the FBI. But the FBI is just one part of the pie. Okay? If you really want to know what the fuck is going on with Epstein and all his contacts and what the fuck he was doing, it's going to be with Tulsi Gabbard. Obviously, Donald Trump is the one that makes the final decisions, etc. Of course, Trump is for not releasing it. But what I am saying is that Tulsi Gabbard is going to have everything. Why? Because Tulsi Gabbard, as the director of national intelligence, guess what her job is? She oversees all of the intel community. They all report to her. Everybody. There's none of this bureaucracy bullshit about, I got to hide information because, no, nigga, you got to give her everything. And she is the one that briefs the president directly. Okay? So look, Pam Bondi is a but the person that really has everything, it's going to be Tulsi Gabbard, chat, for what you guys want. Because it's not really about the client list. The client list has been out. Okay? If you don't got the client list at this point, you're just a fucking. The problem is that people don't like what's on the client list because it's not high profile enough. Sorry, guys. Most billionaires are low-key niggas that don't give a shit about clout like that. Okay? These perverts, they're no names. But what a lot of you guys really want to know is who the fuck did he work for? How was he collecting money? Who was he collecting information for? Why was he collecting it? How was he doing it, etc. That's what you guys really want. Okay? And the person that's going to have all of it, is Tulsi fucking Gabbard. All right? It's not going to be Pam Bondi. Hell, Pam Bondi might not even have a full clearances yet at this point. She might have like a bullshit TSSCI, but I know Gabbard has everything. Okay? Because of, Gabbard has a Q clearance. She has a Q, she's got a Yankee White House, she's got all the clearances. Because of the nature of what she does.